Hi, this is Chad Kastner.
And I'm Scott McDonald.
And we're from Keys to Retirement.
Chad, did you say Keys to Retirement?
Yes, Scott, I did say Keys to Retirement.
Within 7 months of learning the tools that I use day in, day out with Scott, I was able to quit my job, start my own local real estate investment company, and here I am, doing radio shows and having a good time at it.
We're not professional radio guys. I don't want to be a professional radio guy.
Me, I'm guaranteed I'm a C student.
The whole reason for us to get into real estate was so that we could get some time back in our life.
And no boss, man. Isn't that cool?
Our company is dedicated to mentoring new and seasoned investors in the proper way to purchase real estate. Not only do we show you how to purchase it correctly, we show you how to use other people's talents, other people's brains, other people's labor, and pay for it all with
other people's money.
We are the hell yes guys of real estate investing.
Good morning, Baltimore. And someday when I take to the floor, the world's gonna wake up and see Baltimore and me.
May the keys to retirement be yours.
All right, folks, welcome to the Keys to Retirement radio show for all you Broadway listeners out there. That was from the musical Hairspray, if I'm correct, John. I am correct. Luckily, I guess. Actually, I didn't guess. John told me earlier today what that was from.
That pretty much tells our personality, too. Chad's watching Broadway. There you go.
All right, we are coming live from Baltimore today. We've got a great weekend. Actually, we got Friday, Saturday rolled together for a huge weekend that's going on with us. We've partnered up with the city in a project called Vacants to Value, and we have 100 to 150 investors here with us this weekend. I mean, it's
And for everybody listening, okay, it is recorded because it's Sunday morning. Let's face it.
Well, what are you going to do?
I know. And if you see the clip, I have a beer, and it's not Sunday morning when I have a beer.
We're actually recording live, though. I mean, we're doing this live, right?
Yeah, there you go.
But, this weekend we've got kind of a groundbreaking ceremony with the city officials in Baltimore. We've been putting this together. I mean, the project itself has been going on 5 years now. The mayor of Baltimore, Mayor Rawlings Blake, announced it last November 2010, that there was a program called Vacants to Value. And basically what Vacants to Value is, it's a partnership between the private sector and the public sector, and we're going out and we're taking care of blighted neighborhoods. We've got a huge group of investors that have a lot of interest in this type of a project. We've worked with numerous cities in different locations, but nothing has actually been partnered up together like we have with the city of Baltimore.
But if you look at it, the timing's perfect because we've been doing this for 7 years. They've been doing it for 5. And within the 5 years, we have actually been doing it with them without them knowing because of the members that we've had. They're going out. What we haven't done, for people that are trying to get an idea of what we're talking about, is we haven't done it in a concentrated effort like we're doing it now, where we're saying, here, this is the area we're going to clean up, this is the area we're going to do, and we're not going to leave it until we clean it up.
Well, and we have, one investor that's sitting here with us right now. We got Stephen Rockwell. I mean, Stephen, you know what we're talking about. You've actually been investing in the Baltimore area. You got multiple properties throughout the eastern United States. You got some properties in Pennsylvania. You've got
Make them sound important. Say Seaboard. Steve and I got a relationship.
Yes, we do.
There you
go.
But you've seen kind of the metamorphosis of what we've been trying to put together, and as Scott mentioned, it's on more of an individual basis. Yourself, what property? You've got 2 properties in Baltimore right now.
I have one property on Borman Avenue, but I've also been to several field trips of yours where I've seen some of the properties that you're doing, and I've been quite impressed with your block approach, with the clusters, and I'm seeing the streets just being changed.
Well, how does it make you feel as an investor? We talk about going out there. So take me through some of the the emotional roller coaster that you went through on an individual, as opposed to what we're putting together, where we can go out and do large-scale projects where we can take care of blocks, neighborhoods, and do that.
Aside from the part where you tell your wife, honey, it'll be okay.
Yes, honey, it will be okay.
No, you just trust me. Scott and Chad know what they're doing, I think.
It makes me absolutely excited to be part of a group where you're not out there by yourself just trying to make it on your own and dealing with whatever situations that arise with real estate investing, to know that you guys are out there helping, watching over everything, controlling the projects, making sure things are done on time, done right the way they are, and seeing the quality of work that is being done is just absolutely impressed and encouraging to be a part of this effort. I'm just absolutely excited.
Good.
Well, so if we turn the cameras on, we're on TV, we probably broke a fire code up here in the room, but the Hyatt.
That's okay.
This is recorded, so they'll find out Sunday that we did it.
I said we were in Baltimore, but we didn't say, over. It's not too bad of a gig we got going here. We're overlooking the harbor and sitting at the beautiful Hyatt Regency.
We have no candles burning. And,
Not yet.
and Linda Dobbs, we refuse to let her walk on fire. So that's another joke for later.
But so I mean, this is the whole idea of it. It's really the partnership that we've put together, and just like you said, Stephen. I mean, it's kind of an insurance policy for us, where if you go out and you want to do a single property, that's understandable because obviously there's going to be cash flow.
Right. Your
property is doing well for you, and you're happy with what's going on with that. But the whole idea of taking an approach where you kind of look back at a 20,000-foot view and you look at a larger scale and you say, okay, we're in this area. If I'd like to buy a house here, how am I going to be affected by something that's happening 4, 5, 10, 15 blocks away? And that's really what's going on with this project. We've got Hopkins involved in this. We've got the city involved in this. We've got the 150-plus investors. And this is just the beginning. I mean, we're really at the ribbon-cutting ceremony where things are going to start to take off. And we're not looking at this from the approach of, well, let's go out and do a property here. Let's go out and do a property there, because we've all been doing. I mean, the 150 investors that are here with us this weekend, they're all actively investing. However, they're doing it in multiple parts of the city. And, you take a consorted and a consolidated effort. Now you can actually go out and have some impact on neighborhoods. You can have impact on communities.
Let's face it. People are hearing this show in Pennsylvania. They're hearing this show in Baltimore. And if you go on the internet, you can hear it anywhere else. Listen, Chad and I are from Reading, Pennsylvania. If the city officials in Reading, Pennsylvania, or the Philadelphia, or anybody else had it together like this, and yes, I'm saying it because we all watch the news and we all think that no one knows what they're doing. There's certain cities that know what they're doing, and right now Baltimore knows what they're doing. They're trying to make a concerted effort to clean this up, and you know what? You put 150 people in, and this is only this is only a small
the beginning phase of it.
Small percentage of us. There's probably another 100 people that couldn't make it because of the timing after Easter that we did this. They're asking us to do it again, and after what we've been through for the last 3 weeks to put something like this together, I don't know if I can do it again.
Sure you can. Open up another Miller.
You're right. All right, let's keep going. So, you're right. All right, Steve won me over. We'll do it. As long as Miller Lite will start sponsoring our tours, we're good to go. So, but it's the right things are happening in the right place, and we talk about planning. We talk about, and that's why we changed the name. We have the keys to retirement. We want it to be where there's a plan, there's an action, and how are you going to get there? No one just shoots in the dark. Well, some do. I used to. About retirement, but I met Chad and I finally got my act together, and we got into houses instead of stocks, and you're doing it the right way, and this is what it's about. And Steve, you're part of it, and we thank you, and we're gonna have to kick you off the seat because we got more people here.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. No,
I'll be back.
Well, we're
I'm teasing.
Thank you very much.
My job's to make people feel uncomfortable.
Okay.
Let me ask you one real quick question before you do get off. I know you've got a couple of different properties. We mentioned the one in Baltimore. You have some also in Pennsylvania and Harrisburg area. Do you invest in the stock market as well? Do you keep yourself involved in that area, or why real estate as opposed to some of the other options that you have?
To answer your question about whether I invest in stock markets, absolutely not.
Right.
I mean, it goes. It's like a roller coaster that doesn't ever go uphill.
And you have no control of it.
No control over anything like that. And the reason why real estate is because especially with the way this program is set up, is that it's a solid investment. A house is not going to go away.
Right.
Property is not going to go away. And that you invest in it, you start off with having already equity in the property, and then as time goes on, that equity builds and increases.
Right.
It doesn't devalue, not like the stocks that go up and down, sideways, everything which way. But with I've always wanted to get into real estate because I knew that's where people who had money, that's where they always invested in.
Right.
Because it is a solid effort.
Well, you're bringing up stocks, and there's people in this room that Chad and I have talked with, and I won't look up because they're in the room. And we do a 2-hour interview and find out what they want to do. And some people are so in love with their stockbroker, and I say, why are you in love with your stockbroker? Well, I lost $200,000 last year, but we're making it back. Or but he's a nice guy, and he's a broker, and I don't know, we golf. Well. And what happened? Well, I lost $150,000. Are you going to get it back? No, that thing closed up. It went away.
Right.
Well, even if for the people that are listening out there, and you're driving around and you're coming out of church right now and thinking, what the heck is going on to the radio? Even if your deal goes a little bit bad in real estate, you have the opportunity to fix it.
Sure.
You have the opportunity to make a correction, and we've been showing people that. Outside people that don't know, Chad and I fix a lot of people's deals that haven't been educated and are not sure what direction they're going. Is you have the opportunity to recover from real estate. Mm-hmm. Some stock markets you don't.
Right.
Some stocks you don't. Some investments you don't. You lose.
Right.
And this is where the opportunity is. Yeah, there's pain. And Steve, you're one that will sit on the phone for 4 or 5 hours and tell us about your pain,
Yes.
right?
Yes, I have pain. Yep, I've got scars to show you.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. But, but it's true. And when you sit with us, and some people will just sit with us just to feel better and hear about their deals and what way we can make them better. And Chad and I have approved a lot of deals, but people not looking at the deal the right way. Would your stockbroker look at your stocks and say, hey, I'm not looking at this the right way? Yeah, let's move you here.
No.
You can't do that. And you don't have that personal relationship because he's got 8,000 members or 8,000 portfolio that he's just moving. He's putting buttons, and this is what they told him to do.
It's not his money. He doesn't care.
It's not his money. Exactly.
And actually, I know we're going to have Carl Fisher probably get on here in a little bit, so I'm going to kind of do a little segue into that. The money that you actually did have invested in the stock market, you've put that into, rolled that over into a self-directed IRA,
Yes.
and you've actually started to, you're going to start using that money to actually purchase your real estate with as well.
Exactly. Be able to use that and watch it grow a lot more solidly than I would in some bonds or other type of stocks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not to say that the stock market's not the place to be, but when you got a guy that's hosting a real estate radio show that worked for Vanguard for 6 years and now he does nothing but real
So
estate.
Chad says, man, I can't go back to the working force. I said, why? He goes, I hammer Vanguard every day on the radio.
They'll never bring me back. I don't have a chance.
He says, what fun? He goes, Carl wouldn't even hire me at this point. I was like, yeah, good point. I said, stick with me. I quit every job I had.
Well, Carl, you actually want to make your way up here? Carl
Probably a
Fisher,
good segment to bring Carl in.
Switch you guys out here and get that going.
Stephen,
Thank you.
thanks. I
Stephen,
hope we
my pleasure.
enjoy
My
the weekend with
pleasure.
us. We're going to have a fantastic time. It's going to be a great weekend for all to have and enjoy this weekend.
Truth be told, Stephen wanted to be first on, so his wife would let him invest more money in real estate. So
It'll be all right, honey. Don't worry.
there you go. It'll be all right. There's always one person in the family that's a little bit shaky.
All right. So I guess,
All right.
Scott, you want to let those guys out there, and we'll switch the things up here. But this is really what it's all about. And when we talk about investing together, we talk about how to go about doing things. It's more than just buying the properties together. It's more than putting money together to buy a commercial property. It's really a group of people that come up with different ideas, different strategies, and really different ways of making your money work and make it more profitable for you. When we talked about Stephen sitting here, and he had mentioned that he was using money from a self-directed IRA, I think this is one of the things that a lot of investors actually miss the boat on.
Mm-hmm.
Carl, you do presentations on this all the time when it comes to people want to get into real estate. And one of the big hurdles that they have to go over outside not understanding what construction, how to do construction or those types of things, I think the biggest hurdle that most people have is they don't know how to go about getting the financing or how to go about getting the capital to start doing a project. And there are all kinds of opportunities out there that they don't even take advantage of. And when we work together, Stephen was a great example. He had $10,000 that was really not doing anything, and we're like, you know what? That's down deposit money for a property to get you started with that money. And that was just one of the small IRAs that he was putting
And
together.
when we started asking Carl questions, we figured Carl's humor out. It's Bob Newhart. We did a Skype with Carl with one of our mastermind meetings for the people that aren't members out there that are traveling around. Carl you did a fantastic job, by the way, on Skype.
Thanks.
But Chad's scared of it now. You keep saying, Chad, you want to Skype? He's like, no, not anymore. I can't do that. So it was cool though. But
I Skyped, and Carl's one of these guys that anybody here use Skype at all? Ever use Skype?
Yeah.
Well, when you go onto the internet, as soon as you go on, it shows you your Skype. Now, not that Carl's a stalker or anything like that, but after I hooked up and we did a Skype presentation with him, the next 3 times I logged online, Carl was calling me on Skype. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, give me a break here, man. I need a little space, just a little space here.
Well, the only reason is I don't know how to turn Skype off.
Right. Now, me being the funny guy, I said, next time you put him on there, just moon him. He will never come back on. And then Chad followed up and said, no, remember he shot rockets off of NASA, which he really was a rocket. So you can't moon a guy who's been on the moon. So we're really blowing your whole segment here with people wanting to invest their money into camera.
And Chad doesn't know how to turn it off either.
I don't.
Right.
I don't. Because when he calls, I have to answer. So it's it's not like my little kids. I'm like, don't answer the phone. It always automatically just pops up.
Chad, I see Hannah running her diaper. Poof. Or there goes Taylor. There goes Peyton.
So, Carl, we had mentioned self-directed IRAs, and I think this is an area that I don't think, unfortunately, it's an area that people don't know a lot about. And you're one of the the premier experts in that field that knows what's going on with that. You have a company called Gamma Plan that is basically a custodian for self-directed IRAs, and just kind of break it down. How does that kind of stuff work, and how can people utilize some of their retirement accounts towards investing in real estate?
Well, one of the little known one of the little known things about IRAs is that ever since the 1970s, they've been able to invest in real estate. They've also been able to do loans and mortgages, invest in private entities, and they're even able to invest in precious metals. But most people like the real estate because it ends up giving them a dividend that's more work, obviously, than buying a stock. But as your previous guest talked about, it gives returns. And I've never seen a piece of real estate go to zero.
Right.
So you have a lot of capability from that aspect. It hasn't been very well known, for the past, since 1975. But the opening up of the internet has pretty much made it available to everybody. But again, a lot of people aren't making themselves aware of it just because they don't plan their financial future.
Right.
And if you look at our clients, most of them wake up around 40 years old and say, hey, I'm not going to have enough to retire. I'm going to have to work for the rest of my life, or their wife tells them that. And they want to do something else, and they have to figure out how to catch up. So they pick it up and they look at it, and we show them where in the code it is and all the forms associated with the IRS associated with it, because the only thing you can't invest in are things like life insurance, alcohol. That probably hurts Scott a little bit.
Probably this is one of the segments I usually don't make a joke, but you just led me into one, and I know I'm bummed. So.
Yeah. But collectibles and antiques. But the list is very, very short, and everything else you're allowed to invest in. So,
and what we like about having you on is, Chad moved his money. I have family members that have moved money in there, and for people that are probably sitting there saying, I have nothing to do with real estate. I want to get into it, but I want to invest with other people who probably know better than I do in real estate. And my brother was one of them. My brother invested into a property that was free and clear. He got hit in the stock market. A lot of money, but losing $50,000 to a lot of people in America is something when you have a $100,000 account. And what he did was simply put in an account, just for layman's terms for people, is $48,000 invested into a home where he's getting 12% return back on his money. He says, where can I make that money that I lost back any quicker than 12% of my money? And I think
that's just on the cash flow. We're not talking the equity. We're not talking everything else that goes with that.
Every October, he's happy because he gets $5,000. Help me out, Chad.
$5,760.
$5,760 and some pennies back into his account. And he says, I'm almost back. Over 4 years, he's almost back to where he lost his money.
And that's not accounting the appreciation on the property.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Now, you yourself, one of the things that we like whenever we work up with any of the vendors or any of the people that we partner up with is they do real estate themselves. And this is, not something that's foreign to yourself. It's almost surprising to me that you got into the self-directed IRA industry because it's so tightly linked to the stock market, and you yourself, are a proclaimed real estate investor. So, what drove you to go down that road where you found the self-directed IRA? Was this, kind of a moment where it was an accidental finding, or was this something that you had kind of put together and said, okay, there's this whole thing about self-directed IRAs. I need to go out there and figure out how I can do it with real estate, or what was the metamorphosis of getting it to where it's at?
And you did this before NASA shut down.
Oh yeah. No, I
can still have fun during the segment.
No, I first learned about self-directed IRAs in the early '90s, and it was a result of borrowing some money. And there was a client, I borrowed some money from some IRA, and it was at 12% return. He says he gets 12 or 16% return. And I hear a lot of people telling that story, but I actually went to him and I said, look, after paying him for a year, I said, I can drop this rate to 7%. If I go to a bank, and if you drop it to 8, I'll keep my money with you. He says 8% is way too little. My IRA can only make 12% or more. That's my rule. And I said, boy, this guy's serious. And he made me refinance. So after I said that, I said, well, I got a 401k and an IRA. I'm going to figure out how to do this. So that's actually how I got into it. And like you said, I'm in real estate. My parents were in real estate, and my grandparents on both sides were in real estate. So, it was second nature to me. And I said, well, once I found out that I could make the tax benefits with the IRAs, with real estate and have control over my money instead of, and I read all the books on the stock market. Right. Mm-hmm. And, I went to an Ivy League college, and I thought I could figure it out with the software. And, I had that red, green, and yellow software, but It told you when to buy, when to stop the stock.
That stuff works really good when the market's going well, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it never worked well either way for me.
There you
go. I did just as well with that software as I did with blackjack down in Atlantic City.
But you had more fun with blackjack, probably.
Yeah, exactly. So it was, so it was just obvious for me to go into the real estate, and I knew a lot of people.
So your first encounter with it wasn't seeing another investor actually invest in a piece of real estate. This person created a private loan for you, so you could actually purchase the real estate.
Yeah, he had a 30% loan to value.
Okay.
Right. So I mean, I had 70% equity in it, and he lent me, $120,000.
So he backed it with a mortgage note, had some insurance there.
Right, a note, a mortgage, made me have insurance on the property. I mean, I loved it.
Right.
I mean, it was the best education I had, and whatever I paid in interest was fine, because it taught me something. It was a lot cheaper than any of my classes in college.
So we've got, so we can take the self-directed IRA. We can directly invest in real estate. That's one option we have. We've got another one where we can invest into another investor. Scott had mentioned we can invest into a private company, where he was talking about his brother had invested into a company that we own, and then we could go out and attach that to a piece of property. Any other options that they have as far as whenever it comes to taking their self-directed IRA and directing it into an investment?
Yeah, I mean, there's other people that'll invest it into an LLC or a private LLC, and I mean, I don't want to get sexist on the radio here, or, I want to try to be politically correct.
I'm okay.
Yeah. I'm not holding hands with you. But there's a lot of women that don't want to be landlords, and they don't want to be showing places, and they don't want to be dealing with property managers, because a lot of times those are hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
So, they would rather lend money or invest in a company where somebody else is doing that work. But there's guys that say, hey, I don't want to, they're working, they're doctors or lawyers or something. I don't have time for real estate. So they'll invest in a private company that will do this stuff.
So, I mean, there's all kinds of options they can do with this. There's a lot of, I guess, what we call insurance, or ways to protect your investment, as opposed to taking the money in the stock market and picking a couple different funds and saying, here, I think I'm diversified. I've got, a mid-cap gain going over here. I've got another a bond investment that I've going over here. Now you actually control the investment. So instead of taking your money and handing it over to a Fidelity, or handing your money over to a Merrill Lynch, or handing your money over to Vanguard,
you are never even going to be allowed in that parking lot.
This is one of those things where you can actually drive up to the investment, say, here's what I've invested in. I'm on, 915 Main Street, and I know where my property is. I know what tenant's living in there. I know how much money I'm going to make on a monthly basis. I know how much money I can increase the rent next year. So I can basically start to schedule my own profits in my own piece of real estate, or my own investment portfolio at that point.
If you really want to invest in Main Street, versus Wall Street, this is the way you got to go do it.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So, there's all kinds of options out there. And I think this is
down the last minute.
Yeah, I think this is one of the things that a lot of people miss out on. We're going to, come back here with Carl. I appreciate you coming out here and joining us.
Carl.
Not only on the radio, but this weekend I know you're going to be one of the keynote speakers at one of our breakout sessions.
Carl, our cocktails need more ice.
Going into a lot of detail what's going to be happening with these things. But, if anybody out there is listening and really wants to get involved with this, you want to get involved in something that's bigger and better that's out there, give us a call. Our phone number is 610-585-6161.
We're going to be doing workshops with Carl at his location, too. So
Absolutely are. Again, the number to contact us is 610-585-6161, or you can also go online at keys2retirement.com. We're available to sit down, do a one-on-one with you. We can certainly bring you into the project mix of things that we're doing, but it's a great opportunity to take advantage of, and there's no better time to get into real estate than right now.
May the keys to retirement be yours.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Keys to Retirement Radio Show. You are listening to Chad Kastner, and along by my side is my good friend and partner, Scott McDonald.
Hello, everyone.
And we are the Hell Yes guys of real estate investing.
We didn't open up with that.
We didn't. Well, what are you going to do? We're different locations, different
It's because we're on TV this morning. We're feeling a whole, no more.
I know. It feels like you almost have to be professional when you're on TV. Doing the radio, he's kind of winging this stuff.
It is fun. They can't see us, except for today. They're filming. So.
I know we were running out of time there last segment before we get started here.
Yeah.
Everybody that was listening, that was Carl Fisher that was on with us. Carl Fisher does own the CAMA plan.
Yep.
It is a self-directed IRA custodian where it's I can't recommend anybody more than these guys. I've been with them for going on 6 years with my money. Everything's with them. But if you want to get in contact with them, they are at CAMA plan. That's CAMA, P as in Paul, LAN. .com.
And what's important for this, if you're listening to us on our streaming on our iHeartRadio or on the website, just because Carl's in Pennsylvania, he can handle outside Pennsylvania as well.
Absolutely, yes. They can take investments from anywhere.
Look at that. All right. She told her husband to get off the pot, and she got me a beer. I like it.
All right, but again, you want to contact those guys.
Now I got to hide one, right?
They're fantastic about walking you through the process of how to do it. It's actually a very simple process. You fill out a form or two. There's a rollover form. They take it from there and get your money over, and you can get up and running relatively quickly. And we got Mike Garish who's joining us right now as well. Mike, you've actually you're working with CAMA as well too, right? You're doing
I'm working with CAMA. I moved half of my
yeah,
IRA
it's not
over
TV, Mike.
to that, and looking to invest in real estate with that half.
Right.
Nice.
I'm still playing with the stock market.
Yeah.
But
It's
trying to
okay.
diversify.
I don't. I'm not. If anybody knows me, they know I'm not somebody that downs the stock market. It's not something that I feel is the primary place to have your money. I don't think it's a place that you should take all of your money out of it.
Right.
But for me, whatever's working, I kind of focus on that, and I run everything towards that. A lot of people say you should diversify and you don't want to put all your money into one location. But I'm kind of I'm of the mindset that if something's working, why wouldn't I want to dump all my money into it?
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, and it's been working. So.
Yeah. And not only that, but I mean, look what we've seen for the
Even
past
in
couple
down
of years.
economies, up economies, sideways economies, real estate for us, if you know how to buy it, we're not talking crazy, folks.
Right.
If you know how to buy it the right way, it makes you money.
That's true. That's what I've seen so far.
Yeah.
So, Mike, we wanted to bring you on today because we always have a good time with you for one thing. I mean, it's I don't think there's ever been a phone conversation that you and I, or any time we've had a conversation that you, me, and Scott were together, that we all didn't walk away with sore stomachs from laughing. But
At least my wife now meets
Well, we
Mike.
do, yeah.
Because I told Mike wants to go golfing in a place in Florida, and I said, yeah. My wife said, there's no guy Mike. You just want to get away from me. No, there's a guy Mike. He golfs.
Well, I'm holding you to that.
We're going to head down there. We're going to head down there. And we'll go see Carl at his place.
All right.
you were actually just golfing not too long ago. When a week
I was
or two
just
ago?
down in Ocean City for a couple days last week.
I got the
Yeah,
email
it
from.
worked out real
I get the
nice.
email from him. He's like, "Hey guys, I know I got one of my properties. Are getting ready to go get the rehab started on them. I won't be able to do anything. I'm in Ocean City and I'm golfing today." I wrote back. I'm like, "Hey, it's great. Good luck hitting them straight. You suck."
Yeah.
Well, that's a nice thing of working with you guys. I can write you an email and leave. So,
My email is you can't say on radio, so
well, that's true.
I basically said, hope you slice.
But real estate's your thing. You know it's a place you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
You had a rental property going. All your properties are actually in the Baltimore area.
Yeah, I have two in Baltimore now. The one you're rehabbing for me. The other one I purchased about a year and a half ago and learned some lessons.
Sure.
And now you guys have helped me pick up the pieces, and we're moving on from there. And
Yeah, I mean, one
this
of the
one's
things
going
that-
a lot smoother.
Yeah,
so.
well, one of the things that we do,
Let's call lessons what it is. School of Hard Knocks.
It's cool, yeah.
Yeah, that'll happen from time to time, and that's one of the good things about being with a group is learn from somebody else's mistake. It costs money to make mistakes,
Yeah.
so it's certainly better to learn from somebody else's mistakes than it does to learn from your own mistakes. But
Well,
go ahead.
the nicest thing about the group is with the mastermind meetings and so forth, we get a chance to get together, talk about problems, talk about issues, and find out what other people are doing. And it's
Right.
really great. You guys bring us together at least once a month.
Sure.
And it works out nice.
That's the one thing that's important with when you're real estate and you're investing in a group, and like we're doing buying blocks or in city streets, is let everybody know what everybody's doing.
Right.
It's not a
Right.
secret. If you're a client with us and we're a client with you, I want you to meet these 150 other people that are going to be here this weekend.
Right.
Sit there, tell them they've had their lumps, they've been their ups, they've had their downs, but there's no reason that you don't know anybody else in real estate.
And the greatest thing about it is I learned something out of every one of those meetings.
You really
either
do.
it be with networking and finding out what other people are doing. It's a great organization.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the meetings, just being with the other investors this weekend. There's going to be at least 6 or 7 different keynote speakers that are going to come in to talk about some different topics and some different subjects. There's all kinds of information. But some of the best information we're going to get is doing things like we're doing right now, where we're all getting together, having a social hour, just talking and hearing some of the stories that are going on, because that's really where the meat of the investing comes. You know, you can stand up in front of a group of people, talk about theory, you can talk about the ways to go about doing things, but the truth of the matter is there's nothing like experiential learning. And when you get to sit down and hear somebody else's story, find out what they're doing, a lot of times it opens up some ideas and it opens up some opportunities for you.
Mike, you and I hit it off because you're in sales a lot of your life,
right?
And
most of my life,
most of your life, and you're looking to enhance your life with real estate, be able to get out of that sooner, maybe if not, just be able to retire a little bit easier.
Well, the whole thing I'm looking at is retirement and what I'm going to do then, and I don't want to stop working. Real estate gives me something I can keep on doing and enjoy myself at the same time.
But years ago, I was in sales like yourself. And what's the one most powerful thing you can do is network with other people, even if it's your competitors.
Right.
To understand what they have going, to understand how they're doing it, who's doing it better. And if you have a guy that's outselling you, you want to sit down and have a beer with him.
Right. You want to find out what he's doing.
Right, and that's
so
what this
you can
weekend's
copy it.
And that's what
There's nothing wrong with that.
And you're finding out the keys to people's retirement. People don't realize it, but that's all we do in life is we always pick and figure out, and then we may get jealous at somebody. We may not get jealous of somebody. We may feel better because somebody's not doing as well. But if you look at what we do in life, that's all we do is network. That's all we do is try to figure out problems. But yet we still find people in real estate that go out there and try to do this themselves. I can't figure it out. Right. And School of Hard Knocks happens. Or they trust somebody that they think they know what they're doing, and that's not going to happen. This is about having fun, getting together at weekends like this, and making things happen. And let's face it, we're satisfying a lot of people's lives, but we're also making money doing it.
Right.
Well, you had mentioned having fun, and I know, Mike, whenever we first met, you weren't having fun.
No. Oh no, I was at my wit's end at that point. Yeah.
You wanted to get together, you wanted to talk about what was going on, but at that point you were kind of like, listen, I got some problems I got to take care of first before I can do anything and move forward. And that's really what we kind of sat down, because we talk about, there's always the glorious side of it when we're working in groups and things are running smooth and things going great. But then there's the side where, hey, let's not give up here. There's problems happen. They're not something to stop. This is life. There's going to be speed bumps in life. Let's just not let that speed bump stop us from driving down the road. And that's kind of where we were with you. When we first met, we said, okay, look, here's what we can do. Here's what we can't do. What are our options? And let's try and figure out what we can do to clean this up and then move forward from there.
Right.
Yep. And that was a real learning experience because you guys offered to help me with some problems that you had nothing to do with. I mean, it was great. So you helped me walk through it. We built up a little bit of a roadmap, and
think about
now we're moving on.
Yeah.
It's great.
But like that, I'm glad you're bringing it up. Think about what that took, Chad and I, to help you there. A couple phone calls. Couple meetings for lunch. A few cocktails, coffee, and it's talking to somebody with a little bit of knowledge, somebody who may know somebody else, somebody who may know a Carl, somebody may know a Wayne, somebody may know who are these other people. Wayne Kerr, as I mentioned, he's our lawyer and accountant that we'll have on the show here in a little bit. But it's about knowing other people. Right. And if you're out there trying to do this yourself, I'm telling you, you're going to lose. And if you think you're within a group and you see 5 or 6 people around you, you're not in the right group. You may be successful and great. But I'm telling you, the majority of them need some professional advice and how to go about doing this and having that plan. Because what are we all doing? We're all trying to get to our retirement at some point in our lives.
And it's nice to have you guys as the mentors to help you walk through it. And it's always fun too. And you bring a lot of fun to it. And
that's the number one thing.
Part.
People say, "Man, you guys work hard. You're having fun." I said, "We don't. It's not work. When you have a passion and you believe, and we've made a great life out of ourselves through real estate. And I know where my daughter's here somewhere, probably out in the hallway or back up someplace, but I know when her wedding's coming. I know the house that's gonna supply that stuff. I know when the next whatever I need to do, I can pull money from. And that's the neat thing. Did we all hit bumps in the road over the economy? Absolutely.
Sure. Right.
And I can't pull as much money out as I want out right now, but absolutely. Will it come back? Absolutely. We're America. I want to keep the show on archive because when people will not remember the pain and suffering in 10 years that we went through here. When you talk to people, say, my mom and dad, I've been through that depression. Yeah, you're living pretty good, Dad. You're on a golf course, you're golfing,
right?
Yeah, and his cigar's getting a little dimmer. He's like, that stunk.
What's your goal for the real estate, Mike? I mean, what do you want to get out of this? Are you looking for additional cash flow, taking care of kids? What do you?
Basically, I basically have the kids behind me for the most part. Got one more wedding to go.
There you go.
However, my goal is to build up a nice retirement fund. Be able to enjoy myself in
Play some
another
golf.
7 years. I'd like to be retired. So I'm looking for cash flow. I'm also looking to do a couple flips, but I want to get the cash flow in place, and I'm looking probably at 15 properties to make myself happy.
Yeah. Sure.
And
it's do. You're seeing it now how it can be doable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's very doable.
Right.
It's with the right team, and it can be doable.
And we talk about 15 properties, and people are thinking, okay, I've spent, my whole life. It took me 30 years to buy my first property, or 40 years to get into my first property. How is he going to buy 15 properties over the course of a short period of time, like 7 years? But quite honestly, we're at the point right now where you're going to be buying 2 a year.
Right.
You've got one in place right now. You're here this weekend. You're looking at some other opportunities. It didn't take, and for the record, and financially, whatever, you're not dumping $200,000, $100,000 of property, $200,000 out of your own pocket to buy these properties. There's other options that you had that you're getting set up with.
Yep. There's options that you guys have shown me that I didn't know were available to me. And by using those options, I should be able to do 2, possibly 3 a year if I want.
Right.
Yep.
So,
Yep. And there's more options coming. I mean, you're in the right network. People know the volume of the volume of investors that we have, and Chad and I are just working that angle with it to help everybody else out. Yeah. And let's face it, for everybody says why would they be doing it if they know so much? Well, we benefit from this too. We're buying with you.
Right.
I mean, when people say that, well, why are you doing this? Why are you spending this weekend? Why are you going nuts? Because we want to rehab houses. We want to change the face of neighborhoods, and we all want that success.
Well,
you can't do this by yourself.
And the nice thing about it, you guys hit it on before, we're actually helping other people as we're doing it.
That's the best
and
part
that's
of it.
the nice part
You know
about
what?
it.
That's what this room's full of, is good people that a stock market doesn't help a family that's hurting.
No, it doesn't. Nope.
Putting a good family in a situation where you buying a property, you're fixing it up to high quality standards that we are, and you've got a young woman, child, husband, whatever the situation is, somebody laid off, and they're going into a house that they want and they own and they have pride, or they're renting and they have pride, which is getting a little more popular right now. How good do you feel? And you're making money.
Right.
Well,
I mean, how can you lose?
Right. Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's investing with a social conscience. Right? That's
Exactly.
really where we're at. Are we in the game to make money? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
we would be out of business if we weren't making money in this. That's obviously where we need to get to. We need to be able to make some money off
I
this,
remember
but-
going to casinos and I pulled a one-armed bandit one time. and
Really?
Yeah. And Grandma Edna was next to me smoking on Pall Malls.
Right.
And I won $1,000 because I pulled it. I didn't feel any better. Right. Make $1,000 on a house, I feel a little bit better because there's a family living in it. You know,
Everybody benefits.
Everybody benefits from it. That's what we're trying to make everybody understand. Because there's a lot of people sitting out there saying, "Wow, you got 150 people here from this weekend. That's out of 5,000 other people that are going to be coming."
And when
that's
people think
true.
about everybody benefits, they think, just directly in the house. They're thinking, okay, so the investor made money, the person that's living in the property, they've got a nice place that they're living in. But think about some of the ancillary people that you're touching as well. You've now taken a blighted area, you've turned it in, you've cleaned it up, crime rates go down, you've got a population increase that wants to move back into the area. So now you've got a city that becomes more vibrant. You've got an area that's more appealing. Commerce, the businesses that are around there, they're going to make some more money now too, because now you've got a community that's living in the area that wasn't there before. So there's all the community of the people that live around there. Their property values are going up. They've got a cleaner neighborhood to live in. Their kids have a nice place to grow up in. I mean, there's so many benefits to investing in real estate that the list could go on and on.
Here's a great example. You see, like Chad and I hang around investors all the time, like you. This weekend, there's not anybody talking about their stocks.
Right.
No, there isn't.
You have a couple beers and you're talking about stories. Yeah, there's a lot of stories that go into doing deals, and we all enjoy it. And you know what? There's no one in here that wants to know anybody's misery.
Right.
If somebody has some issues, everybody in here can help them.
That's true.
It's not like, oh, that sucks. You lost a lot of money. Yeah, that stock you shouldn't have bought. Yeah, I wouldn't have went there. Oh, you listen to Chad and Vanguard? No wonder.
I think it's even bigger. I think it's even better than that, Scott, because you talk about the stock market, we talk about the economy.
Right.
There's all kinds of wars going on right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pain in the world right now, but I'm telling you right now, this weekend, there's nothing but positive vibes being thrown out this whole weekend. We're talking about going through and what we're about to accomplish over the course of the next 2 days. We're going to be going through all day. I mean, tomorrow is going to be just an incredible time. People are going to have a vision of going in and revitalizing neighborhoods, making things better, making it better for the
Yep.
community, making it better for us. I mean, this whole weekend, nobody's talking about the royal wedding here either, so that's actually making me feel better. But the truth of the matter is,
It's because we got bumped to 9:10 in the morning on Good Morning Baltimore or Maryland.
Good Morning Maryland.
Good Morning Maryland.
Yeah, there's no negativity here this weekend. I mean, everything is. What are we doing? To
Vegas
move
will
forward,
now
make it
have.
stronger?
All right, this is bad. It's Sunday morning, but Vegas now have odds when the divorce is. All right, I'm the first one that said it in America. And it's not even over. They didn't even gone to their last party yet.
Well, I tell you, Mike, I know we're the producers over here hitting me up for switch guests because we got a bunch of people to get on here.
Yep.
I appreciate you coming out this weekend. We'll get Jack.
Thanks,
you
Mike.
want to step up here real quick?
Jack.
We're gonna have a great weekend. We had obviously the first two investors that we talked about were out-of-state investors. Jack is actually a local Marylander. He is in the area, so for him to actually be able to have something that's revitalizing, I'm sure this is probably a little bit nearer and dearer to your heart, where you now get to take an area where you grow up, you live near, and you get to revitalize it. So this is probably something that's
nice short drive
probably
for
has
him.
a little bit more of a meaning to you than maybe it does for these guys. And it's funny because a lot of these investors, we just talked about Mike, he actually might live closer to Baltimore than you, and we're just outside of York, Pennsylvania. What are you, about 40, 30, 35, 40? What's it take to get from you to Baltimore?
He's
from
right by
your house?
BWI.
Takes 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
20
all right.
minutes.
So you beat Mike by 10 minutes.
It's a hard drive.
It's a hard drive, though.
We were sitting at their dinner table and their dog bit me. So and he's still doing
You
investing
were
with
nice
us. So I'm
enough,
okay.
you and your wife Nancy were nice enough to have us. at
He's
your
got a
dinner
Yorkie.
table.
I thought, hey, one was nice, wasn't one? My finger's getting better though. It's a little shorter.
So we come to you. You have a beautiful house. You invite us into it. You're willing to make dinner for us. And the reason we sat down is because you had been.
But we were shy enough to not accept. So
You had been trying for a long time to take that next step and get into real estate. It had been over a year probably since you started getting involved.
Yes.
So yours was more of a apprehension, a fear. What was holding you guys back?
I think we were both afraid. I'm an engineer, very careful.
Very conservative, sure.
Yeah, very conservative.
understatement.
But when I see the philosophy that you guys are doing, I mean, I work with Habitat for Humanity.
Nice.
Right.
And that's a great way to help people.
Sure. Absolutely
But
is.
This is even better because you're getting money back.
Right.
Yep.
And
Well,
basically, we're looking for a way to enhance our retirement.
Yeah, you're getting rewarded for your success to help somebody else. That they're getting rewarded for the house that you're going into, and you're also making money on it. I mean, I just can't figure out anything better than that.
And to watch neighborhoods like that, get
Turned
over, completely renovated, that is just fantastic.
It's a great feeling. I mean, and that was what was great about meeting with you guys, because you had the apprehension at first, but when we sat down and said, okay, let's put a plan in action, because this is really what comes, is right up your sleeve. As an engineer, you have backup plans for backup plans. I mean, I know how that works. I talk about working at Vanguard, but I was actually in the IT department. When it came to rolling out something for the website and you're protecting people's money, you do have an elevation plan. You have a backup for the elevation plan. You have a backup for the backup plan for the elevation plan. So I know where you're coming from. And what we really needed to do with you and Nancy was sit down and say, okay, here's where you are. Here's where you want to get to. What's it going to take to do that? Not only are we going to figure out what it's going to take to get there to do that, but let's kind of take it step by step, figure out the pieces along the way, and let's see what we can do to get there. And I think once you saw the map and everything was laid out, I think that made it a little bit easier for you to say, let's go out and do it, because you turned around and said, all right, let's do two at a time.
The most conservative people, I have to say, when we walked out of your house, we got in the car and we said, what just hit us? They want to do 2 deals now.
And maybe more.
And then maybe more. There you go.
Now, what do you guys want to get out of the real estate? What's your goal for the money? What do you want to do with that down the road? Is this a retirement thing for you, or where are you guys at?
I'm very close to retirement, and
Good.
I want to enhance the retirement. I want to be able to do things.
Sure.
I don't want to sit home and rock.
Nice.
So
What do you do? What kind of hobbies you got? You golf, or what do you do?
basically, I'm a home improvement guy.
There you go.
are.
There
I
you
know
go.
you are.
And he does have a very nice
He was
home.
actually building the bathroom.
Yeah,
He
he
was
did the
rehabbing the
extension.
bathroom when we were there that
Oh, yeah.
time.
So
Danny signal us.
I know the details that go into
Okay.
the home, but
Yeah.
There you
I don't want to be the guy
He has to do it all the
pounding
time.
it down.
Right.
I want to watch it.
There you go. There you go. And we can make that happen for you. And you know, and that comes with, you know, when Chad and I meet with people, and usually it's like 2 hours. We try to figure out what you want to do and how we're going to go about it. And you guys were deceiving because we thought you were really conservative. I don't know. And all of a sudden now you want 2, and here you go on the show there, maybe more. And you guys have a deal now.
They got
too.
their one deal is in place already.
Yep.
You guys are doing the Radnor. I'm sorry.
No.
Radnor. No.
Radnor.
Yeah,
Yes, Radnor.
Well, what's the numbers on that property? You know them off the top of your head by any chance?
He's an engineer. Sure he does.
To the penny.
No, I can't think right now. But,
There you go.
but
He put his cocktail
radio
down
on the
over
right
there.
to do
Yeah.
But it's going to be a property. It's going to be a nice cash flow
I think
property.
it'll be a nice cash flow, and
We put you guys into a neighborhood we knew you'd feel comfortable with. It's basically 85% home ownership, very clean, comfortable neighborhood. It's felt like a pretty safe investment for you guys.
as soon as we looked at it, I knew
It's a no-brainer, right?
it was a no-brainer, right?
Nice.
Well, fantastic. I know we're running out of time. I hate to cut you off because we run along with the other guys.
He doesn't care. He just wants another deal.
I know Mujahid wants to get on the air with us.
There you go.
And we're going to do that. So if you guys want to swap places, we're going to be having a great time this weekend. We'll
All right.
Thanks,
be going
Jack.
through a couple new neighborhoods.
There you
We'll be doing a little bit more urban stuff than we were doing with you guys.
Anybody going to Jack's family too? Watch your fingers. Their dogs bite. I'm just kidding.
All
Where's
right,
his
you
wife?
want to come on up here? All right, we got
Mujahid.
probably got about 2 minutes left here, but we wanted to bring Mujahid on. This is a guy who is probably the most aggressive individual. Trying to have a conversation with you on the phone is like trying to catch a fly with chopsticks.
There you go.
I mean, you are like all over the place, excited and ready to go with stuff.
Right.
Now you're getting into this into real estate with your wife and your brother, who let's go through the the credentials of this family. You've got a wife who is a CFO, correct?
Well, actually, she's a director of all these supermarkets.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So don't mean to diminish her by saying she's a CFO. She's actually a director. She's got something better going on than that.
We'll beef you up and get you a raise.
You're an
so.
entrepreneur yourself. You actually own one barbershop, and you're getting
No, I
ready to
actually
open a second.
no. The second one is open now.
Is it open
Is it?
now?
What's the
Okay.
name, though?
Moose Barbershop. That's my nickname.
Moose?
Everyone calls
There you
me
go, Moose, and these are in Philadelphia.
Yeah. So go ahead and this is obviously broadcasting in the Philadelphia area. You want to do a little shout out with where they can find your area.
All right,
your
can we give a
location?
plug for your brother too?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Definitely. Well, my barbershop is it's called Moose Barbershop. We definitely we cut children, women, adult haircuts. We're located-
NBA players.
Yeah, exactly. We're
Little
located-
secret, his brother plays for
Washington Wizards.
the Washington Wizards.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So now that raises a question. So somebody that is a professional athlete, you've got a wife who's very successful. You're an entrepreneur. You're very
successful.
successful yourself. Why would you guys even think about having to do something else and get into real estate?
Well, I think for us, there's a strong understanding now of pretty much building assets
Yeah.
instead of liabilities.
Exactly.
And not necessarily using ourselves as assets. And I think that's the huge thing for us, having assets that are working for us instead of us working for them.
Yeah, because I mean, the last thing you guys want to have to do. I mean, I'm sure as a director, your wife works pretty hard. I know running your own business, you have to work pretty hard, and obviously NBA players, they have to travel and be away all the time too.
And this
so-
is a good thing for a lot of folks out here. Now, your father was an entrepreneur, right?
Yes, yes, he was.
Yeah, this is. Yeah, I'm not always good with names, but I can tell stories. And when we met you, when you guys were coming through this, that's what intrigued us, is that you were coming from a pedigree of entrepreneurs and saying, okay, well, I own this, I do this. Your brother's essentially an entrepreneur, being in the NBA. That doesn't last forever. But you guys said, where do we future as an entrepreneur? And did you have a background? Did your dad tell you this? Did somebody say you should be in real estate? Where did that come from?
Well, I think actually it's kind of a two-sided thing. I always see my father work hard, so pretty much understood the work ethic that I needed to have. But I see my father make some mistakes being self-employed and not having assets that produce income for him.
Nice.
So when he at the end of it, closer to his working days, around 45 to 50, when I watched him get burnt down, he made a lot of income.
Right.
Early on in his life, made a lot of money. I remember as a child, he would bring his money home, and I would actually stack the money in 20s across the floor, and count it. But what happened at the end of his working days, he didn't have anything left to show for it.
Gotcha.
So for me, I understood by reading certain books, Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, things like that.
There you go.
I understood that I needed, making good income, but now I need to have assets
Something that was
spin off
recurring
income for me.
income that did it for you.
Exactly.
We need to have you back on more often.
Yeah.
I'm glad you came
came down here to Baltimore, you twisted your
what we're
leg to
gonna
get
do.
down here. But we want to have you back on more of our radio shows.
Oh yeah. I
You
would
and
love to.
maybe possibly your brother.
And
back
definitely
on
my
up.
wife. And I
And your
definitely have
wife.
to plug in my wife because
got
to be
it.
honest with you, a lot of stuff that I'm doing, if it wasn't for my wife, I wouldn't be doing it. She
And this
actually
is very
pushed-
true because every time we do a
Right.
conference call, Angela, could you get
I'll
on?
tell you
please?
what, we're actually we're running out of time here. We got to get going.
Yep.
But Jai, thank you for getting on the air with us. Great weekend we're going to have. Folks, if you want to get in contact with us, it's keys-to-retirement.com,
Put
the
your hand
number
on
2. It's also 610-585-6161. Until next time, may the keys to retirement be yours.
May the keys to retirement be yours.